It's clear that when we speak of education, clearly the most dangerous of all Arabs are the educated ones. Clearly the Arab who is now studying at Hebrew University will be the intellectual. He will be the leader. He will be the PLO leader tomorrow. Only contemptuous liberals believe that if we raise the Arab's living standard, then he will be a good Arab. A good Arab. You can buy an Arab's national pride by giving him an indoor toilet. You can make him a good Arab who will love Jews by giving him a scholarship to Hebrew University. The worst of the Arabs, the most dangerous of the Arabs, are precisely those who are studying at Hebrew University. They are the dangerous ones. The revolution never ever came and never ever will come from an ignorant peasant. It comes from the intellectual that we, in our benign Jewish insanity, send with full scholarship to the university. Muhammad Mayari sits in the Knesset, openly PLO. He is a graduate of Hebrew University.
This year there was an election at Hebrew University for the Arab student group. There are 1,400 Arab students studying at Hebrew University on scholarships. A coalition of Arab groups headed by the Sons of the Village, the Nekfar, which calls for a Palestinian state to replace Israel. Yesterday took control of Hebrew University's Arab Students Committee. That night, when it was announced that they had won, 80 Arab students chanted the Palestinian cry, "With blood and spirit we will redeem you, O Palestine," and sang the PLO national anthem, Biladi. Who allows such students to be on the campus? I remember when I was in Knesset, there was a debate on some bill on education. And for some reason, Shimon Peres, who at that time was Prime Minister, chose to answer for the government. And he went into a whole speech about education, and then suddenly he began to speak about Arabs. And he said, in 1948, there were only 110,000 Arabs living in Israel, all illiterate. And today, and as he said that, he stepped back, and it was as if the sun shone. He literally beamed, as he said. And today, 4,000 Arab students are studying in the universities of Israel. And I sat watching him saying, one of us is insane. One of us is insane. Glickenstadt. What wonderful news! 4,000 are studying. Do you know who the most dangerous Arabs in Israel are? Of course it's the students on the campus. The revolution comes from them, not from the numb and the dumb. It isn't some shuffling falach out in the Galilee. It's his son, it's his daughter, at Hebrew University, at Haifa University, at Tel Aviv, and for all the Orthodox Jews here at Bar Ilan, which has 250 of them. Now give a check. We're not more. You allow Arabs who openly approach PLO, who openly call for the end of Israel. You allow them to study with Jewish funds? We can't find 4,000 Spartan Jews who haven't got money who would love to study there?
You listen to cabinet ministers in Israel. It's like out of Rudyard Kipling. We were raised at Livingston. We found illiterate Arabs, and now there are 4,000 Arabs studying in the universities of Israel. Aglikenstadt. Joy! Joy shall reign! 4,000 Arabs are now studying in the university. Do you know who the most dangerous Arabs of Israel are? The students in the university. The revolution doesn't come from the numb and the dumb. It comes from the intellectuals that we, in our benighted Jewish insanity, are training. Full scholarships. That's the Piro leadership of tomorrow. That. What's going to be? The contemporaries. They ask me, aren't there any good Arabs? How many Jews have it? But aren't there any good Arabs? What an unbelievable question. They're all good Arabs. The problem is that behind that question lies a contemporary. What the Jewish leader means when he asks, aren't there any good Arabs? By a good Arab, he means an Arab who will, despite the fact that he believes that it is his country and that we stole it, nevertheless will accept the fact that it is now Israel. That's a good Arab. A good Quisling. A good Arab, they're all good Arabs. Because to me, a good Arab is like a good Jew. A good Jew is someone who wants Israel to be a Jewish state. A good Arab is someone who wants Israel to be a Palestine.